Hi, I'm Benjamin Rous. I'm the music director of the Charlottesville Symphony across the state of Virginia, and I'm also the former resident conductor of Virginia Symphony Orchestra, and I'm really excited to be coming back to work together with Virginia Symphony Orchestra on the Peanut Butter and Jam series on January 9th. And I'm thrilled to have the chance to take you behind the notes and tell you a little bit about the Mozart music that you're going to hear on that program. This concert is put together with the theater group called Magic Circle Mime, and I've worked with Magic Circle Mime many times before. I love their shows, and this is going to be awesome. The cool thing about the way that the music and Magic Circle Mime goes together is music tells a story. This is my violin, by the way. I'm going to play you a few things during this conversation behind the notes. Music tells a story with no words, and the art of mime, obviously, also tells a story with no words. And you can put the two of them together at the same time because mime happens in silence, right? So you can still hear the music. And Magic Circle Mime has a great way of putting together a story with humor and real feelings that are that works together with music to tell a story throughout the concert. And I'm not going to tell you anything about the story. That's going to be a complete surprise. I'm just going to talk about the music that you're going to hear. The first piece of music I'm going to tell you about last. The second piece of music on the show is the Empresario Overture. And it starts off with this kind of brilliant, exciting tune. I'll just play you the first few notes of the Empresario Overture by Mozart. I think this theme is really exciting, and it's really outgoing, and it's really joyous, and it's really happy, but I think it's also funny. And Mozart shows you that sense of humor with those quick little notes at the end. And he's putting them all over the overture. And those three little notes, those like little grace notes we call them, I think are Mozart's way of being funny. Mozart was really funny. He was constantly making jokes, and you can go and read the letters that Mozart wrote, like the letters that he wrote to his sister especially. Constant jokes, gross jokes, naughty jokes, really like nasty but also really funny type of jokes. And I think you hear Mozart's sense of humor not just in the Impresario Overture, but actually like all over the concert. You're going to hear his sense of humor. Another piece that you're going to hear on the concert is Mozart's Violin Concerto in D major. Now, the opening theme of that violin concerto sounds like this. And when the solo violin has that theme, it's repeated way up here in the top register. And then the violin goes on to play. Like violin type stuff, right? But that very first theme is kind of unusual for violin. And it's unusual because it's so simple. It just takes those three notes, right? In fact, this theme is like a fanfare. It's a trumpet call, written out for violin. But it really is a trumpet call if you listen to it again. You can tell that it's a trumpet call because it's just got those three notes, like the three notes that make up a major chord, right? And if you just use those three notes again in every octave, then you can have music that sounds like a bugle call, because those are the notes that bugles can play naturally. And you could recognize that, for example, in Morning Reveille. Right, I'm just using three notes. And then when we use this note, it's that same note an octave higher, right? We're just using three notes in three different octaves. So when you hear the beginning of Mozart's Violin Concerto, you could imagine a trumpet playing. And then when the violin plays it way up here, it's kind of like, I don't know, an impossibly high, angelic little trumpet being played on the violin. So I think that's pretty neat about Mozart's D major Violin Concerto. Of course, there's lots more music in it. I won't give it all away. There's some other pieces on there that are going to be familiar to some people, like the Overture to Don Giovanni and the last movement of Mozart's Last Symphony, which is the most grand thing I think that he ever wrote. The finale of the Jupiter Symphony, which has lots of themes going on top of each other, and I can't demonstrate it on the violin, so I'm not even going to try because there are too many parts going together. But that one is a real earful. The end of the Jupiter Symphony. It's awesome. I can't wait to play it for you. There's another very, very, very famous piece, which is called Eine kleine Nachtmusik, a little night music, which we are going to get to play for you on this. And if you don't recognize the German words Eine kleine Nachtmusik, you probably recognize the tune. It's that one. Whoops. So that's called Eine kleine Nachtmusik, or a little night music. And I just noticed as I was playing it, which is why I started making mistakes, that it's also, it's a fanfare, isn't it? Isn't that a bugle call? What's going on here? Did Mozart just write a bunch of bugle calls for the violin throughout the whole piece? No. There's lots more violin type music and orchestral music on this concert. I just seem to be running into these trumpet tunes all over the place. Very strange. Well, there is one more piece that I wanted to tell you a little bit about on this concert, and it is, I'm going to take a different instrument to demonstrate on it. So come down here with me. So for the last piece that I'm going to tell you about, which is the first piece on the program, I had to come down here to my trusty toy piano. The piece is, of course, another piece by Mozart. It's a set of variations on a French children's nursery rhyme, which is called Ah, Vudere Mama. And it's about, well, talking to your mother and saying, can I tell you, Mom, why I'm so sad? Because Dada wants me to be reasonable, but to me, candies are more important than being reasonable. That's basically what's going on in the nursery rhyme. Now, the nursery rhyme has a tune, which you might recognize. It goes like this. And of course, you recognize that as Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or maybe as Baba Black Sheep, Have you any wool? Yes sir, 3BC, or A, B, C, D, E, F, G. We use that song for a lot of things, including the alphabet song, and also Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But the original is this French song about telling Mama how it's much more important to be rewarded with candies than it is to actually behave well. And Mozart wrote a wonderful set of variations on that. So that's what I wanted to tell you about the music. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being with us. And I'm really, really thrilled to have the chance to perform for you just after Christmas and New Year's in the beginning of January, to get back to the Peanut Butter and Jam series with this wonderful Mozart show. Again, Magic Circle Mime is going to put on a great show that I'm not going to spoil for you. I'll let that be a surprise, but now you know a little bit more about Mozart's wonderful music. Can't wait to play it for you. See you soon.